Now, if you're like me and you have to wear reading glasses or distance glasses, or your eyesight's not as it was when you were 20, you may have a little bit of problem discerning whether the image is actually sharp in the viewfinder or not. And it's kind of tricky, it's kind of very awkward, and I see a lot of people amongst my students who are probably my age or a little bit older maybe, who have this real problem. They have to wear glasses, they don't particularly like contacts, they have a problem with the eyepiece and they're not quite sure whether it's in focus or not. Well, we've got a couple of things that are really helpful for people like that. They're very helpful all around. Number one is, of course, the autofocus beep. And if we listen, there we go. Every time I half press the shutter button, and it's not just Canon, it's Nikon, it's Sony, every camera does this. You have an audio beep. And the Canon's fantastic because it lets me know that it's focused. It may not have focused in the right place, but the bit that it's focused on is now pin sharp, and that's good. So how do we tell whether it's focused on the right bit? Well, of course, in another chapter I explain things about the AF points, setting your autofocus points in your camera. So generally, let's say the center of the viewfinder is where your autofocus points in. So providing your subject, and keep looking over here, your subject is standing kind of in the middle of the frame, and you press the little shutter button there, it should focus, and you take a picture, no problem at all. But what if it doesn't look in focus in the viewfinder? It may not be because the camera's made a mistake and it's out of focus. It may just be that your eyesight isn't actually tuned to look through the eyepiece. So if you're using a visual and optical eyepiece, we need to have a look at a thing called the diopter. Now, on a Canon camera, you'll find it on the right-hand side of the eyepiece, and there's a little adjusting lever, a little knurled wheel here that we can use to adjust it. And what that does is, it's brilliant actually, it actually refocuses the distance or focuses the image between the outside eyepiece and the prism inside the top of the camera. So essentially it means that what you see in the viewfinder is pin sharp when the camera goes beep and actually focuses. You'd be surprised at how many people are taking pictures and they haven't made this adjustment, and that's why they're always a little bit unsure about the sharpness of the pictures, and probably a little bit surprised when they put them on a computer to see that they actually are sharp. So to get this totally pin sharp, what I suggest you do is point the camera. I've got my camera on a tripod because it's just easier for teaching purposes, but you can point the camera at something very strident, like a sign or a notice or the edge of a picture frame, something that's black and white, a little bit like my shirt perhaps, but something that's very, very easy for the camera to focus on and very easy for you to see if it's in focus or not. So it's either sharp or it's not. So you do that and you half press and the camera focuses like that. If you then look through the eyepiece without touching the focus or moving the camera, you look through the eyepiece. If it looks in focus, then you're fine. If it doesn't look in focus, it means we need to adjust the diopter. And you simply, while you're looking at the picture, you simply adjust this diopter and you'll see that the image goes in and out of focus until it becomes clearer or softer. So you stop after wheeling it backwards a few times you just stop on the point where it's the clearest in the viewfinder, and then that should be set, technically, should be set for your particular eyesight. So it's very, very easy to do. It'll take you 2 or 3 minutes. It will make a big impact on how you see your pictures. And it should, you know, if you've been thinking over the years that the pictures are not quite as sharp as you thought they would be in the eyepiece, it'll give you a lot more confidence.